Welcome back to the Jumpify Labs podcast, the show for founders who want growth without the guesswork. Here we mix AI, data, and real talk around the systems that drive predictable growth. And today we're joined by someone whose story is as powerful as the mission she leads. Mischa Martineau went from overcoming homelessness and heavy adversity to becoming a global voice, helping women build self-identity in the tech industry. Her work touches organizations, emerging technologies, and women looking for a path into tech. Mischa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much, Jay.
It's a pleasure's all mine. Let's kick things off. You've built a global footprint helping women in tech grow. For listeners meeting you for the first time, what's the short version of your mission today?
Oh, the vision that I have is that we're meeting the socioeconomic imperative for more women in the global technology workforce. The mission underneath that is to empower women to elevate and realize their greater capabilities. The overall purpose is, again, to increase the number of women in the global workforce.
Right. And why don't you share a little bit of your story that got you here in the first place? Because it's a very powerful one.
Sure. Well, as a girl growing up in Canada, I would see the palm trees waving in the background when I saw shows like Hawaii Five-O. And it was born inside of me that I wanted to live in the land of the palms. And so sure enough, I found myself emigrating to the United States. And then I found myself getting all tangled up in what later I would discover was an alcohol addiction. So I was an alcoholic. And then it turned out at age 24 that I also had a bipolar disorder. And all of that led to a couple of times actually being homeless. And then I also was involved in a domestic violence relationship. So all of that addiction and all of that mental illness really shackled me, to the ground.
Yeah. And how were you able to get support to overcome that scenario? Because that sounds like one thing after the other. And it sounds very, just such strong adversity.
Yes, a lot of adversity. Well, ultimately, I am who I say I am is that statement of self-identity. In my particular case, though, I had to believe in a power greater than myself to get the help that I really needed. So in combination, with a power greater than myself, and then leveraging the power that I do have of my self-will, the dominion over my self-talk that I've gathered over time. In 1998, I was in a leadership role and I attended leadership conference with Lou Tice, who was the founder of the Pacific Institute, and he introduced me to self-talk. And the first application that I did with the self-talk was to become a non-smoker again. I was telling everybody I'm trying to quit smoking. And so I saw myself as a smoker who was trying not to be what I knew myself to be. And so I needed to change it to I'm becoming a non-smoker again. And then I imagined my lungs dripping with blood. I imagined all of the horrendous effects of this smoking, and those things in combination, I was able to achieve a state of being returned to being a non-smoker again. And so I've applied that to all aspects of my life going forward.
And how are you applying that? How are you implanting that new identity for women who want to tap into the tech industry?
Well, there are a lot of women who are riddled with what we hear it called as imposter syndrome. I don't like to call it imposter syndrome because to me, a syndrome is damning. I prefer to think of it simply as self-doubt. And these are highly skilled women who doubt themselves. They tell themselves, I'm going into this next meeting, I'm going to speak up, I'm going to advocate for myself, and then they don't. So they're not living up to their intentions. And I am who I say I am empowers us to believe in ourselves. My entire life, Jay, people told me, all you have to do is believe in yourself. Just think positive. And I always thought that sounds great. How do I do that? Please, would somebody tell me, how do I believe in myself? I am who I say I am is exactly how to believe in myself. I'm using it for myself on a daily basis. And it happens to be the purpose that was given to me at age 24, there was a particular moment where I realized that that was my purpose. It was something bigger. And when I was going through homelessness and all of these adversities, I knew in my heart that somehow I was being made qualified to continue to do the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, and tell us about the work you're doing with women. You're helping them get in tech. I'm sure there's like some tactical things in there, but you're more strategic as far as the identity wise goes, correct?
Yes, that's correct. What I am who I say I am is an online learning experience. It's self-paced, it's on demand, and it's something that strikes to the core of self-identity. Nothing gets to the core of belief about who I am and what I'm capable of, that I am who I say I am. It is all of the proven cognitive neuroscience. So it's the The power of self talk, it's the power of visualization, it's the physiological responses that come from that. For example, if we imagine ourselves going into a speaking situation and in the past it did not go well, we'll have all of those physiological responses. So it's all of those pieces combined, but it's done in a very creative way, a fun way, in a very effective way. There's a three-step mental process so that it's very repeatable, it's very simple, and the results are immediate. The results are immediate. And I have women in Turkey, in Africa, in various places, but the lady from Turkey most recently was talking about how it instantly had an impact on her behavior. And I can expound upon this a little bit more, but I am going to take a breath and let you jump in because this is Jumpify, right? So you probably have had people like me where you need to like Jumpify them. So go ahead, Jumpify me.
Well, I'm curious. You're reaching people in Turkey and Africa. How are these women finding you?
Well, it's through social media. It's through LinkedIn, a lot of it. And also we are partnered with the one of the largest, if not the largest, global women in tech network. And so this will be our fifth year coming up, being a community partner to their global conference. They have 100,000 women. They're reaching 179 countries. And so by virtue of that community partnership, we then are able to reach their, their membership.
And as you're scaling globally, what are the biggest friction points slowing down growth?
Well, I would say that it's getting the word out. It's having more of the right people be aware of what we're doing and to be able to leverage AI and to be at the mountaintop where we're broadcasting and then the people are coming. So it's really that quintessential challenge of wanting to reach more people, which is why I am grateful for this opportunity to expand on getting the message out because I know and my team knows that we have a really exceptional solution, and it's a matter of getting the right people to see it, to understand it, and partnerships are really where we can reach the most number of people. So that's what we're welcoming, more partnerships with organizations that are on a shared mission. Some of those organizations are women in tech networks. Some of them would be universities. There's an education gap. There's a gap between the women coming into higher education versus men. And there was a director of admissions for a local university. She said, we have certificate programs for women, we have MBAs, and the women are saying they don't think that they're a leader. So the block is the self identity. Identity comes before strategy. So you might have a strategy to advance your career by taking this higher education learning program. However, if you don't first, of course, have the self efficacy to believe in your capabilities, you're not going to reach for it. We reach for what we believe we're capable of. I am who I say I am starts with that belief and capability.
If you believe it, you can achieve it. So you
Well,
have to believe first before
and
you
let's and let me I'm so glad you said that because it's not just a pep talk. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when people will hear, "Oh, I am who I say I am. I am affirmations. Look in the mirror. I'm confident. I'm this. I'm that." That is not what I am who I say I am is all about. It goes much, much deeper than that because you'll have a woman who will say, I'm going in there. I'm speaking up for myself. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. So that's where the doubt comes into play. So, and there was a time when I was suicidal and I tried to share with a friend what was going on for me and the level of the impact. And she said, what? She said, you're the most positive person I know. Well, yes, I am, and no, I'm not. And so it's being able to get out the other piece of it. It's like letting the air out of a tire. In order to move forward, when you let the air out of the tire a little bit, it expands the surface and you're able to move forward on rocks. And so really, you've got to be raw, you have to be real, you have to tell it like it is. And that's one of the challenges. One of the greatest challenges is having these advisors, people telling me, if we've lost hope in what we're doing. Having another advisor say to me, you've been at this for a long time. There comes a point when I didn't even let him finish his sentence. There comes a point when. So it's 20 years in the making. I started this in 2020. So it's actually 25 years in the making. I was just starting to achieve my sobriety. I didn't realize that the drinking rendered the medication inefficacious for the bipolar disorder. And so I had this inside of me and I did my best. And there were so many times, Jay, along the way, my capacity was 15 minutes. My capacity for working on that day was 15 minutes. And I continued to do my 15 minutes. There were times where I couldn't even talk. I couldn't talk with people on the phone. I couldn't talk with people in this sort of a meeting, but I just kind of kept, chipping away a little bit. And I just kept going. And there was a point where I had to just give it all up because I was homeless. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I have to give it up, but it wouldn't let go of me. I tried to let go of it, Jay, but it wouldn't let go of me. And what I mean is, every place I went, people kept saying, "What's going on with your program?" It's just like it wouldn't let go of me. And that's how I know it's something bigger.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. It's following you around. The growth, the greatness is following you.
It's with me everywhere. And I've wanted to quit dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And I wanted to quit. And I just cry out and I just say, I can't do it. It's too much for me. I can't do it. And so I'm continuing to surrender, 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 surrender on my own power. I cannot do it. And it got to a point where it had to not be about my ego. Because when it was about me being a speaker, doing this, doing that, I was flattened to the ground. So it has to be that I am in service. And so that is my modality. My modality is being in service. And the second my head starts getting big, when people will say something to me, you could do this, that, or the other thing, I cut off the thought and I don't allow myself to go to a place of me ego.
Yeah, that's powerful. It sounds like you have a lot of things that you have to do or the things that you could be doing in the business. Of course, there's finding women to go through the program and then finding partners. If you had a magic AI robot that could do anything in your business for you, what would you have it do?
I would have it reach out to more people and say, hey, this is what we're up to over here. And I think just the hey hays. Like people will say, regarding pitch decks and when you're pitching for people to invest and so forth, I really don't see it as being an arduous, difficult process. Like people will say, it's hard for women to get funding. You have to do this, you have to do that. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Coming from the land of adversity that I've lived in, I don't buy into any of that. And so my AI robot would just be on my side in my heart, buzzing around. I don't know where it is, but it would be doing its thing. So just like a splash of water, right? It's just like the rock, and then it just ripples out, and it somehow goes into the psyche of the people. Maybe that's what the AI can do. It can somehow go into the brain of the right people and activate them like all of these robots, moving forward towards a common mission.
Yeah, absolutely. The AI can do a lot of different things and it just gets more and more powerful every single day. But for anyone listening, who is the perfect person to join your program today?
Oh, you mean the woman that we would serve?
Hmm.
Well, we're serving women at all levels of their career who are just riddled with the pain of self-doubt. They're not able to advocate for themselves. Like Nedra, she was interviewing for months. And when she got into these interviews, she wasn't able to articulate the value that she brought to the table. And within 2 weeks of I Am Who I Say I Am, she had two offers from major firms. She accepted one that she said, her words, she directly attributed it to I Am Who I Say I Am. Whether you're in an early career, whether you're in a mid career, whether you're into an executive level, people who are dealing with a lack of confidence, people who are dealing with burnout. Again, the biggest suffering point is women who they do believe in themselves. Like we serve two people. One doesn't believe in herself, the other does. Most of the women who think they don't believe in themselves, who have a lack of confidence, when I'm working with them, they do believe in themselves, but it's that shackle. And so I Am Who I Say I Am really lifts the shackles off of us so that we can become all that we're meant to be. It's a simple, repeatable process. Everyone is telling us, do this, do this, do this, do this. Confidence. If you want to be confident, confident is done by doing. So you have to go out there and do. Don't wait until you're ready. Go ahead and move forward anyway. Well, the words I am ready, that's part of what activates me into action. And so telling somebody, don't wait until you're ready, a different way of saying that is, I realize that there are certain resources that I might have thought that I need. However, I'm recognizing and knowing that I am ready and I am moving powerfully forward. And so these are some of the ways that I am who I say I am. It's a unique value proposition. And you have all these online courses for technical skills. So you asked, who are we helping? We're helping people who are thinking, gosh, can I go from product over to data? Can I switch my domains from engineering over to cybersecurity? They don't know if they can do it. And so they're stuck. And I Am Who I Say I Am gives the building of the identity to move forward, to take the course. And then after the course, you know how it is. You take a course and then you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then it all falls flat. I Am Who I Say I Am picks up after your course. It gives you the mental momentum to keep going. It gives you that resilience. And by the way, perseverance precedes resilience. Everybody talks about resilience. In my case, self-care is to live or die. And so resilience, unless I literally, quite literally, Jay, unless I literally survive something, there's nothing to bounce back from. And so preceding resilience is perseverance. And naturally, I do draw to me women who have some of these other challenges. And you can see all the statistics about domestic violence and what that costs enterprise. So there's a lot going on under the surface. Now, you might say for enterprise, we don't care what people are dealing with in their personal life. Well, enterprises that are really succeeding and moving forward and becoming more competitive, it's because they do care about what's going on. And then there's a whole conversation regarding DEI. I don't know if we have time to go into it, but it is something that I have in
Yeah,
my mind.
why don't you share a little bit about the
Okay, so in DEI, there was this whole blow up, and the blow up, the example I remember was for the Secret Service, that there were women as a part of the Secret Service who were super short in stature, and so they were not able to protect that larger if it was a male, and so things kind of swung in the other direction. I understand that the main point was, look, we don't want to be hiring people to meet a quota. It's all about people who are highly skilled and who are working in a meritocracy. So if you've done the work and you've excelled in the work, then we're going to promote you. The piece of diversity is absolutely proven that divergent thinking is what helps move the needle on innovation. It's what helps enterprise to become more competitive. And divergent thinking comes from divergent cultures and it comes from gender diversity. So McKinsey did a study and they said that when you're closing that gap, women on the board, those particular boards, 27%, they have a 27% higher financial bump up as a result of that. We also have from the Women's Institute of Policy Research, they're saying that over $1 trillion can be added in the US alone in our economy by diversifying the workforce. So, hello, everybody. This isn't just let's hire women for the sake of women. Women are being held down, et cetera, et cetera. No, there are some extremely, exceptionally highly skilled women, and it has been proven that the enterprise will become more competitive as a result of hiring women. So in the old days, remember we had a blue ocean strategy. So for business, it was here's a blue ocean. It means there are very few competitors move into the blue ocean. I have a blue sky strategy. And the blue sky is that for enterprises who are closing the gender gap, they are becoming more competitive. They are becoming more innovative. Ultimately, at the vision, we want to solve our global challenges. The objective is to increase the number of women. Currently, we have 35% of women in the global tech workforce. So the objective is to increase that number. However, it's important to keep in mind the vision and the objective. Specifically, what I mean is one of the things that I saw, it said it's going to take 104 years to bridge this gap if we go at the same pace. Now, when I hear it's going to take 104 years, what I think the messaging is saying, it's trying to tug at the pant leg of the man saying, hello, 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 it's going to take 104 years. And then for the woman, if you say to me, it's going to take 104 years, I am depressed. Okay. I think it's being said to kind of like motivate me, but I'm depressed out of the gates. Instead, my message is that we look at the vision. The vision is becoming more competitive, becoming more innovative, and the objective gets us to the vision. So you see how important it is to have a goal and objective and also the vision. If we're only looking at the objective to the disregard of the vision, that's where you have the disconnect. But you have to have the action. So you have to have the vision, you have to have the action. So that's the biggest issue that I'm seeing right now is this whole pant leg pulling, let's get to the vision.
Yeah, the vision is gonna guide the mission, it's gonna guide the action.
You have to have the action and it has to be data-based action.
And I am who I say I am program. It sounds super exciting. Where can listeners learn more about it?
Well, you could go to iamwhoisayIam.global. That's our web address. So the name of the company is the same as the URL, and the name of the course is I Am Who I Say I Am. So everything is very simple and easy to remember. And you can access all of the courses in there. You can sign up for a free course preview, and you can also get a free download that's a sample of the I Am Who I Say I Am My Discovery Journal, and that is a digital companion to the online course.
Amazing. That's very generous of you to give a sample size of your course, which sounds like it's gone through so much just for you to build it. Where can people reach out to you?
I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And my email address is my first and last name, Mischa.Martineau at iamwhoisayiam.global. And we're also on WhatsApp. A lot of people are getting us on WhatsApp.
Because you're global, and WhatsApp is a global platform that people can text each other on.
Everything we're doing is global. People are in the Philippines, people are in Germany, people are in France, people are in, all these various places. And it's just we're instantly connected. And that's the beauty that we're able to bring everyone together. You're probably wrapping up, but I will add, when you look at diversity in teams, you have all these challenges that everybody's coming from a different level of English that they're speaking. They're different time zones. And so there are a lot of challenges that businesses are going through, and we are as well, as it would relate to time zones and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, we are wrapping up now. Misha, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Like, if you wanted to learn more about her program, be sure to reach out to her on social media or just visit the website. And if you like more stories like this from other leaders like Misha, be sure to tune into Jumpify Labs podcast for more. My name is Jay. Thanks so much, and we'll talk again soon.